Okay, so how do I think about that strategic plan? Number one, it requires a statement that gay sex is morally good. Now, you may think that might be a little crazy to go out there and saying gay sex is good. But think a second. Society definitely believes that heterosexual sex is good, right? Heterosexual sex within a certain framework, marriage. I mean, you can't get more dewy-eyed and romantic in this society about how wonderful that is. Okay, and then if you're not being cynical for the moment, I think that does reflect a correct understanding that sex is often a basic building block for intimacy, and that intimacy and connections within couples and within families are integral building blocks for a healthy society. And I spent all of Friday at the Center for Everyday Lives of Working Families here at UCLA that has a phenomenal project of videographing families. And I think it's very clear that supporting families as a political and moral unit of our society is important for a healthy society. And by the way, it was Diana Pash, who's a graduate student there, who interviewed me on Saturday that finally got me to say, yes, I think we should in fact really do this battle. Instead of my coy, oh, we should think about it, we should have a conversation about it. No, we should do it. Felt like engaging. All right, so here's the thing. How do we do it in a way that's strategically smart? And on this, I'm drawing from a project that I launched this past June called Workplace Flexibility 2010. Okay, the goal of the project is to change the face of the American workplace so that people can better integrate their personal lives and work lives through flexible, accommodating workplaces. Okay, that's the goal. Small, minor, right? What do you think? A few years? Right? I mean, the idea is we want to change the American workplace and we want to revolutionize social norms. Okay, this is a project that the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation is funding me to do. Workplace Flexibility 2010. So they've done lots of research that they funded in various academic disciplines, including this UCLA Center. And now my job is to bring that research to affect policy. Okay, I have 3 divisions within this project. Legislative lawyering, which is looking at all the laws affecting the workplace and does it inhibit or advance flexibility. A whole division on policy research, which, and this was the point on Friday with the UCLA Center, working with the academic researchers to figure out how to have an interactive, dialogical relationship between academic research and policy, to think creatively about that. And then I have a whole other division that is called political and social engagement. And it's about dealing with different stakeholders, unions, businesses, individuals, right? And I'm having a meeting in December, 2 days, so we can do a 3-year plan on each of these categories. Okay? This takes hard work, and it takes funding. It takes someone to whom you're responsible to for the funding to actually come up with that plan. So I think we need the same effort with regard to LGBT rights, using the weapons of moral values. And I think this effort has to happen alongside the current effort, which is using the weapons of equality. It should not supplant that effort. It should supplement it. It should complement it. Because the fact is, I think we have a pretty good track going right now, track number 1, that in fact has these components of legislative lawyering, policy research, and political and social engagements on the equality model. They may not give them exactly these names, but I think the components are there, and I think it's incredibly important to continue supporting that track. But then we need a second track. And I think the second track has to be based on the following principles. 1, moral values are important to a healthy society. 2, intimate relationships between individuals and in family structures are critical moral and political units that can create a healthy society. And I credit this to the UCLA Center that I was visiting on Friday. 3, it's the government's responsibility to nurture these moral and political units. 4, people in opposite-sex relationships and people in same-sex relationships equally embody this moral good and equally deserve support from public policies. Okay, so a subset of this would be gay sex is just as good as heterosexual sex, right? And also gay people, just like straight people, are more than just about sex. And 5, our current public policies undermine the moral and political unit of same-sex couples and families, and that's a moral wrong that needs to be rectified. With those principles, I think you then need the components of legislative lawyering, policy research, and political and social engagement, and you need someone to fund and demand a 3-year plan on each of those components. So here's my bottom line. There is a war that needs to be fought. And it's not a war overseas where we're killing people in the name of liberating them. It is a war right here at home where we need to convince people that morality demands full equality for gay people. And with apologies to those of you that are not Star Trek fans, when I finished writing this, I couldn't resist writing, as Captain Picard would say, number 1, engage!
Your culture will adapt to serve us. Resistance is futile.